Hey toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. We've got my buddy Dave Croft here, and we are taking a look at the G.I. Joes from 1988. These are the top 10 figures as voted on by the fans on the G.I. Joe A Real American Hero 1982 to 1994 Facebook group. We had, how many votes did we get on this one?
About 430-ish.
Okay, so we're starting to lose a little bit of steam. Maybe it's because we had a lot of polls, maybe it's because this isn't as popular every year. Hard to say, but still enough votes that this is a very, viable list. In the number 10 spot, interesting, we're rolling over from the last year, we've got Night Force Tunnel Rat.
Yeah.
He's an interesting figure because he's one of the few Night Force guys where I feel like maybe he's improved, maybe he's not. I almost like a combination of the two figures at best.
Yeah.
Like Night Force, they went sort of lighter on the pants and darker on the shirt, whereas the other figure was kind of the reverse.
Yeah.
But if it was number one figure of the year he came out, and we're going to repaint him in dark colors, you can't really go wrong with that.
No, I mean, you take any of the figures that are popular and you make them Night Force, he's going to do well.
And it's an improvement on most of them.
Yes. Yeah.
Number 9, we've got Spearheaded Max. This one I actually voted for, and I was using my kid brain. This isn't like me voting as an adult. This was, I had Spearheaded Max as a kid, and I loved this guy. He had this cool, quilted chest with the bullet bandolier, that ridiculous gun, and the Bobcat.
The Bobcat.
I love Max.
I mean, this figure to me is really, really cool. I think they did a really good job of the sculpt on him. I think they did a really smart job with picking colors. I mean, to use some orange like they did, I just didn't think that would work. But when you see it, you're like, this makes total sense.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see him painted up in some other variations. Yeah. The one complaint I might have about this figure is his helmet's a little odd fitting.
It is.
It would be nice if that was tweaked just a little bit somehow.
It just seems that that it makes his head sit a little higher.
It's a little crooked sometimes.
Yeah.
It
kind of wobbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the number 8 spot, we kind of have the poster boy of 1988.
Yeah.
Repeater was merchandised on everything.
Yeah. I think they thought that he was going to be the grand slam for, the line. And I mean, he's a great figure.
Really good figure.
Really interesting idea that they did with the stabilizer and the gun. I think really cool. I think the hat, they did a really good job of sculpting that hat. Cool figure, but
one of the first appearances in '88, we started to see the digital camo a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not super wild about it. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But it was always a little bit too blocky for me. It's way bigger. The scaling of that digital camo compared to what digital camo looks like in the real world is real out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got this great marine cap. He's the Steadicam gun, which comes straight out of Aliens too. It's weird how well that works. There's such a sci-fi kind of gun.
Yeah.
You put it on a realistic looking soldier and it looks great.
I think they did some good tweaks to the way they sculpted that gun and the stabilizer. And I think too, if you would have put that gun, let's say, in the 90s, you might have gotten some space references.
Yeah.
But because they put it with a traditional, typical looking military guy, I think you just bought into it and you said, oh yeah, sure, that's not going to shoot lasers.
Right. In the number 7 spot, we've got Blizzard. This guy came loaded with accessories.
Yeah, he did.
I had him as a kid. I really enjoyed him.
Yep.
Just the sheer amount of gear he had. The great removable helmet. He's got skis and ice climbing shoes. The backpack converts into a little sled vehicle. It's got little bicycle handles.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then 2 guns, right? He has a pistol and a...
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this figure to me, I think this is where 88 starts to really ramp up and show how good they can really do characters. First and foremost, I love snow guys. So the fact that they did another snow guy, I was all about. The climbing shoes, to me, are just a great touch. You don't see that very often. And for them to put that in, I just think was a great, great idea. I think he looks cool. The fact that he has all those accessories, they all work together. And, he doesn't feel like he's bogged down with too many accessories like some other figures can have happen to them. A great, great figure.
Next up, we've got Hydro Viper. I got Hydro Viper on Christmas morning, the same Christmas morning I got Repeater. I was allowed to open one package before we went to church because Christmas fell on a Sunday. And I opened that up and got those 2 figures. and then had to go to church and not play with them. And I actually remember sitting in the choir next to this guy that I was friends with. I played G.I. Joe with all the time. I was like, I got Hydro Fighter or a paper. He's like, shh, we're going to get in trouble.
That's awesome. I think Hydro Viper is a really, really cool figure. He's not one of my favorites. I'm not surprised that he's in the top 10, but I think they did a really cool job with the visor that has the tubes that hook to it. I think he's an interesting paint scheme too. I think he's a cool figure. He's just not one of my personal favorites.
They went kind of bold. It was like, kind of getting into like science experiments and mutant stuff. The webbed hand was really interesting. Yep. But the webbed hand is neat.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really cool, like, oh, okay, this guy is like...
It would have been cool if the knife could have gone into, like, some sort of sheath or something on his leg.
Or hook onto the air tanks or something.
Yep.
But he came with the Manta Ray pet. And those the flippers and that helmet, really, like, is he a monster or is he a man? Like, it was a cool thing that you could really put your imagination into as a kid.
Yeah, it really was.
In the number 5 spot, we've got Road Pig. So the Dreadnoks live on.
Yeah.
We actually missed some Dreadnoks. They didn't make the top 10. Actually, none of the Dreadnoks besides Zartan. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It takes this long to get another one in there. But this is an incredible figure as far as maxing out the size of a G.I. Joe figure. I mean, he's so beefy.
Yeah.
Intimidating.
Yeah.
A giant muscular chest. He's got the football pads. A cinder block on a stick. Phenomenal weapon.
I don't know how that works. Like, as soon as he hits one person with that thing, it breaks. Like, what does he now have? Just the handle for an axe or whatever that thing is? I don't know.
He's got a wrist guard, and then he's got the crossbow.
Yeah.
So, like, he came with a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I think they did a good job accessorizing him.
Yeah.
And he looks the part. He just looks like a badass.
He's got that anarchy tattoo on his arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a really, really cool figure.
He is a cool figure.
So in our number 4 spot, we've got an army builder.
Yeah.
And it's not a Cobra. It's a bad guy, but not a Cobra. We've got the Iron Grenadier.
Yeah.
Destro came out with his own line of guys. They were very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Originally built as the foil to Battle Force 2000, but it turned out they were way more popular than Battle Force 2000.
Yes.
The Iron Grenadiers have a very interesting look. They have like a Conquistador-style helmet, but this funky rebreather piece. Red and black with some gold details. You can't go wrong with that color scheme.
No. It's a simplified paint scheme.
Yeah.
So, like, it leaves a little bit of mystery for you to figure out. You know, like a lot of Cobra figures, they're not showing faces, so this helps with the whole idea and this mystique of who these people are and what they're doing and how badass they are.
He's got a sword, a little laser pistol, and a big beefy Uzi.
Yeah.
I mean, really cool.
Yeah, really good figure.
So in our number 3 spot, we've got one of the most popular characters. This is Storm Shadow version 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Storm Shadow has now switched to the good side. This is an interesting thing in the background. Larry Hama, the guy that wrote the bios and the comics, was an Asian American, and he was kind of disappointed that the first Asian character in the line was a bad guy. And he started slowly setting things in motion in the comic book, which Hasbro didn't really oversee that carefully, and then made him a good guy, and Hasbro's like, wait, you ruined our best bad guy. He's like, no, I've improved your best good guy. and so they released him as a good guy, and he's got the tattoo on his arm, which was really cool. He's got a ton of great accessories. He's got a backpack with all kinds of funky details, a sword.
Yep.
Kind of wish the backpack wasn't red and the sword, but we'll forgive it. He's got a claw.
Yep.
Oh, and the crazy compound bow. Yeah, how can I forget that? That's like amazing.
Yeah, and he's got that camo pattern. One, I love that they put him in a different, like, ninja outfit.
Yeah.
And then they gave him that, to me, I originally thought, this is a crazy camo pattern for a ninja to have. But then, especially as an adult, I totally love it now.
Yeah.
I love this figure now.
I like how he's got the rope bundle with him.
Yeah.
It calls back to the sash the original figure has, but
does.
it does something different with it.
Yep. Yeah, and the thing is I was big into a lot of kung fu and ninja movies as a kid. So, like, I totally could see Storm Shadow now, like, on rooftops, jumping from rooftop to rooftop and climbing with that rope. I mean, there's lots of things that I thought were really cool about that.
Number 2. I mean, this figure I'm almost amazed he didn't make it to number 1. Hit and Run.
Yeah.
Is one of the most memorable figures from that year.
I know why number 1 is number 1. I mean, I get it. There's only 2 votes separating number 1 and number 2, so let's put that out
close.
there. But Hit and Run, to me, I mean, you just talk about the perfect army guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they did everything so well on him. Like, you don't even need to give him accessories. He's just badass just the way that they did him. The green, the camo. I mean, they just picked really good colors. They did a great sculpt of him.
The face paint is wicked cool.
I mean, the fact that his visor on his head is a different color is just these little touches that they did just made him a great, great figure. The fact that he also has the target version that would then come with the parachute.
Yeah.
Great figure.
The duffel bag that you could wind the string in, because we've had a mountain climber before with Alpine, but now the grappling hook has like a place to go. You feel like the oversized accessory works, because anytime you put a winch or anything like that into a toy, it becomes clunky.
Yep.
But the duffel bag kind of worked for that.
It did.
He has a gun. He's got that cool knife that hooks into the duffel bag. And then the fact that they made his waist have the rappelling harness built into it, and you can actually put the rope through it. It's great.
Yep.
And our number one guy, I can't really argue it.
No.
We've got Shockwave.
Nice outfit, baby blue.
This figure to me, I mean, this was my vote. I love this figure. I remember when I first ever saw this figure, and I fell in love immediately. I mean, I loved SWAT when I was a kid. So them to make a figure that's all about SWAT and they do the justice that they did to those guys and that group of people, just fantastic. I cannot talk highly enough about this figure. The fact that he has this Uzi and he's got this pistol and then he's got this badass Rambo knife and a blue backpack and it just, man, I just love this figure.
It was cool. He has a balaclava mask and the hat on top of that.
He's like, that's not enough. I gotta put the hat on.
He's got this cool digital camo, but it's a little bit more intense than most of them because he's got multiple colors going on there. He's got the light blue, dark blue, yellow. It's a really great looking figure.
It is.
Shockwave! This is your moment for glory. Get in there!
It's very cold in here, and I think I'd like to leave now.
Negative! Permission denied!
Alright, thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous tour review. In the comments down below, let us know what your thoughts are on 1988 G.I. Joe figures. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check back for more.